Can I go?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know whether he was to press a button or something.
No, it's alright, go.
Right, okay. My name's Lindsay, and I have a disease called Alpha1 antitrypsin deficiency, better known as Alpha1, or actually in many cases not known at all. It's a disease similar to cystic fibrosis in that it's a genetic disease that my parents carried, and they got together and they made me. What happens with Alpha1 is that your liver holds on to proteins that your body needs to protect itself, particularly the lungs. So in essence, I've been going around with lungs that have no protection from the day I was born. So when I get infections, if they're not treated immediately, it will damage my lungs, and it will be irreparable damage that I can't ever get that lung back again. We didn't know I had this for a long time, and I was always very athletic and very outgoing, and they thought it was asthma when I was a teenager, and I was given inhalers and things like that. And it wasn't until I was in my sort of late 30s that they discovered actually that my liver was failing, and I needed a liver transplant. At that point it was critical, and at one point I only had 24 hours left to survive. Luckily for me, at that point a doctor realised that what was actually damaging my lungs, my liver, wasn't the Alpha1, but was actually some medicine that they were giving me for an antifungal condition in my lungs. It actually had an adverse effect on my liver. They'd put it down to Alpha1 because they'd assumed that's what it was, but it wasn't. So at the last hour, literally, I was saved, and my liver is perfect. Sadly though, my lungs are not. And I'm now at a stage where I desperately need a lung transplant. Sadly, I'm not listed for a lung transplant because up until this stage the doctors at Newcastle have considered me either too well, or I had too many allergies, or it seems to be anything. They would find anything and everything not to list me. So as I say, I was always very athletic, and even with oxygen I continued to rock climb and to take my children rock climbing, canoeing, everything you can imagine we've done with oxygen in tow. I'm on oxygen 24 hours a day, which is a bloody nuisance, and it's really unattractive, but it hasn't stopped me. It hasn't stopped me at all. In fact, you know, I do all the normal things that women do. I like to dance. I can't really dance very well, and that is one thing that I can't do now, but I did with oxygen. I just danced around it like you would a handbag. And I love to hang out with my friends. I love to go to the cinema, but my husband gets embarrassed because my machine beeps all the time, and whenever there's a silent part in the movie he's always mortified because you can hear my machine going. I'm now in a wheelchair, which is a real nuisance for someone like me because I love high heels, and high heels are really not sexy unless you're walking in them, so a bit gutted about that. So if anyone out there is a size 6.5, they like high heels, I've got a whole cupboard full of them. Can't quite bring myself to part with them, but you're welcome to come and have a nosy. They don't really look the same sat on wheelchair pedals, but... So I'm in a wheelchair now. I have a carer, who happens to be my friend of 40 years, Brian, the long-suffering Brian, and that's how I kind of get about now, really. I told you I had children. I have 5 of them. And I'm 45 years old. I know I don't look it. I know, I was just blessed. You know, some folk are, some folk are. And I don't want to die, obviously, but I am dying. And people don't know what to say to me. People don't know how to look at me. They sometimes talk to Brian if he's pushing me, rather than talk to me. They'll stare at me and make me feel really uncomfortable. If I go in anywhere, everyone turns to look. And all these things are normal. I get curiosity, but I hate ignorance. I hate people who stare and stare and stare and don't come across and say, hey, hey, you know what, what's up? Or even to ask Brian, do you think, you know, your friend would mind me asking, or anything. But to stare at me continuously, make me feel uncomfortable, whilst I'm having a coffee is unfair, really. The other thing that annoys me is people who assume I'm a smoker. I've never smoked, and obviously I won't. But that's a favourite assumption of others. Oh, fag Ash Lil in the corner. Well, no, because I've not smoked either. Right now I'm in a position where the doctors here believe, and the professor that I saw from London believes I need to be transplanted now. I don't have much time left. I could have done with being listed a couple of years ago, but as a disabled athlete at that point, we believe that the doctors in Newcastle, where the transplant centre is, have thought I was fitter and more able than my lungs actually were, because outwardly I was always able to do an awful lot more than people who were as sick as me. I'm what they call in the medical profession an outlier. I don't fit into parameters. I don't fit into their normal graphs. You know, if you have this, then your abilities are this. My body's always surpassed all the abilities and all the things that you would expect it to be able to do until now. And that's why I'm sitting here with an 80s hairstyle and really crap face, because anyone who knows me knows I love to get my hair done. I like to look nice. It's kind of a bit of my thing. So to be sat in front of a camera, it's potentially going to go out to thousands of you, without having my makeup on and my hair done, it's a bit of a big deal. And the only reason that is because this morning I was too weak and too tired to lift hair straighteners, to put my makeup on, to do all the things I do, to paint that face on that everyone knows as Lindsay. I was too tired. I could have refused to do this today, but I thought, no, that's weakness. At the end of the day, I am as I am. And, you know, I don't always have to hide behind makeup and fancy hair. So let's get to the crux of this. How do I feel about the fact that I'm dying? How do I feel about the fact that I don't have long? Well, it's kind of strange really, you know, because I'm not scared of dying. I don't want to die, obviously. I have grandchildren too, and I've got a new grandchild coming in February. But every day I don't wake up and think, oh, today I'm dying again. No. I wake up and I'm happy, because I'm naturally a happy person and I've always got things to be happy about. But I wake up and I do wonder every day, is this the last day? You know, is today the last day I'm ever going to have? Is it tonight that I'm going to die? Is it tomorrow? Now, people say, oh, we're all dying. I will slap the next person that says that to me. Because there's a big difference between, oh, we're all dying. Yeah, we're all one closer to day to death. But it's a bit different when someone tells you, and you know, because you know that you don't have a lot of time left. Big difference. So please, if you know me, and if you've ever said that to me, don't ever say it again, and nobody say it from this day forward, because it really gets on my goat. It's a bit of an insult, to be honest, to people in my position. And the other one is, we could all go out tomorrow and get run over by a bus. Please don't say that to me either, because you don't lie in bed the night before thinking, tomorrow I might get run over by a bus, do you? You don't. Whereas I lie in bed thinking, tomorrow I might not be here. And that's a possibility, a massive possibility. What I do is I try to make my days busy. And I make my days busy by showing kindness to other people. Now you might think, oh, why waste your time doing that? You should be pleasing yourself. Well, I find social media is a really great place for me when I'm poorly, because I see other people who are suffering and they're forever apologising to me for moaning. I shouldn't be moaning when I see you. Yeah, you should be moaning, because do you know what? Whatever's going on for you bothers you today. It bothers you. So why not moan? Just because you're not terminally ill doesn't mean you're not allowed to moan. It's okay. And I would like to think that I'm a constant support to several people on Facebook and social media, because I like to support other people. I like to encourage them. I like to make them feel better if I can. If you've been a tit, I'll tell you you've been a tit. If you've been a wimp, I'll also tell you you've been a wimp. But in general, you know, I spend a lot of my time online supporting others, because it makes me feel good. And maybe it makes me feel less sick in many ways and still useful. And that's really important. Anyone who's dying will tell you that to be made to feel useful is such an important thing, because a big part of our sort of, our feelings are burdenous. We feel that we're a burden on people. You know, I'm forever saying to my husband, I'm so sorry I'm sick. I'm so sorry I'm like this. I'm so sorry I feel tired. You feel that somehow the people that you love are missing out on something. You feel that they should be doing something far more fun. And they're not, because you're holding them back. It's how you feel. They don't make you feel like that. It's how you feel inside. So it's really important to me that I feel useful and valued and worthwhile, I guess. My contribution now is a lot less than it could be to other people's lives. I can't physically help people in many ways, but maybe I can help them emotionally, psychologically, or whatever. Just write them a card, you know. That might be what I can do right now for other people. I worry more about those I'm leaving behind than I do about me, because I won't know anything about it. They will. They've got to keep going when I'm not here. My youngest is only 9, and that's really hard, because I won't see him grow. I won't see him become a man. I won't see him get married. I won't see what I grew. I bore him, and you know, I watched him grow, but I won't see him grow to his full potential. And that's all that any parent wants to see. To know, I guess, a bit narcissistic really. We kind of want to know that we've done a good job, I guess. I won't know that. And even if the unlikelihood of me ever getting listed, even if I was to be listed tomorrow, the chances of me getting a transplant in time are very slim. So, you know, let's not lose our hope. I'm not a negative person. You just never know. You just never know. But the reality is that it's probably not going to happen for me. So I worry more about those I leave behind. My husband, I've told him if he finds someone else, that's cool, but he mustn't love her more than he did me. That's my only stipulation, which I think is fair enough. And my children are so brave. They know mummy's dying, and yet they keep going. They keep going, and they're never down. They accept it. They accept the fact mummy's sick. And my little boy said to me, I won't tell you who he was talking about because it wouldn't be fair, but he compared me to somebody else that's in his life, and he said, Mummy, there's nothing wrong with her at all, and she just sits and watches telly, and yet you're so sick and you just do everything. And that to me was the moment I knew I'd done my job. So whenever I go now, I know I've taught them the right lesson. I've taught them that it doesn't matter how sick you are, you can do everything. And really, I don't really know what else to say to you folks other than don't stare when you see someone who's sick. If you're curious, go and ask. Please sign up to be an organ donor. It might not help me, but it might help my children in the future, and who also carry this disease, or it might help somebody else. My friend Lisa's just gone through a double lung transplant, and I watch her progress every day, and it's been slow, but I put a big shout out to her, Lisa, and keep going, Lisa, because I'm so proud of you, darling, and I can't wait to see you rocking these new lungs. Supposed to sum up, a little funny for you is that you might not realise this, but people like me get lung envy. When we see lazy bastards sitting around doing nothing with really healthy lungs, people, well, not really, but people who, we have to do it again because it won't work now.
Okay.
It won't work now, but that doesn't bother me because that's their choice. But my friend Ashley just said, does it bother me when people smoke? It doesn't, actually, because it's their choice. It bothers me more when people sit around doing nothing with healthy lungs and they're wasting their life away doing nothing. Because I want their lungs. I'm actually coveting them, if I'm honest. I'm kind of looking, thinking, are you a B positive blood group? You're a little bit large, might not fit me. But yeah, and I've got another funny for you. When I was in hospital recently, a doctor said to me, is there anything else we can do for you? And I said, there is actually. I said, if you find some useless bastard, I said, it doesn't need their lungs, can you please harvest them for me? And he turned around and he said, how's about Theresa May? Well, I did have to laugh at that, although I said, would that then make me a Tory? because I think I'd actually rather not have them. So anyway, that was a bit of a funny 40 and a true story. Guys, go out there, sign up to be organ donors. You know, I'm massively into this opt-out scheme, obviously. A lot of you aren't, I understand, but if you were sat where I'm sat, you would be. Thanks to everyone in my life who supports me. Thanks to all my family and my friends who are there all the time, unwavering for me. My husband Bobby especially, who, you know, puts up with so much behind the scenes. Although I have said to him, be grateful that I'm just dying, at least I don't have PMT. So, okay, see you later. You ruined that.
Oh, I didn't ruin it.